another episode of The Next Fix. And today we've got Kate. She is in the recovery space, meaning people that are trying to heal themselves. And she's got a very specific approach to that. And we're going to unpack all of that stuff. Always as we do. Well, first of all, I want to welcome you, Kate. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ryan, for inviting me. Super happy to be here.
Yeah, we're pumped about this. And so I wasn't quite sure. I always like tiptoe around it sometimes to see if whether or not she's super familiar with the rock bottom moments, as pretty much all the rest of us are. But yeah, that's where we start in this show. So Kate, I would love to know when the shit hit the fan. What is the deal? And then what kind of propelled you into the space of helping people deal with this kind of a thing?
Yeah, my journey started, I was about 12. My first journey was alcohol, any substance abuse, any other things, but alcohol was pretty prominent. It's a culture. I'm from Ukraine. So having a vodka on the table during the Christmas holidays, it's a very, very common thing.
Is it really? Like, I know in my mind, I'm a very ignorant US citizen, right? So like everything is built upon scenes from movies. Is it literally like the bottle of vodka like next to like the bread? Like, is that how? Really?
It is, right? We used to do big festivities, right? For any holiday. Is it a birthday party? Anything is a huge celebration, which is kind of nice because it's a connection of the family. Right. However, alcohol is present all the time. And it's like kids, it's available. Right? So of course, it's not like every kid is drinking at 12, not at all, but it's available. We see that parents do that all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Of course, they would tell us not to, but so that was like the scene behind my mind that like, that's normal. We grow up, we start drinking. However, when the drinking, just tasting it, comes with the traumatic experience, it links to some pain, well, that becomes a problem, right? So it's not just having fun with friends or connecting. It actually starts to become a problem. And so for me, it started about 12 and gradually became a problem. I was 23.
So, all right, from 12 to 23, what was going on in that time? You were just
more like entertainment here and there. I was still in school. I was still in college.
Social.
More like social drinking. Well, every weekend, couple of times a week, right?
Right.
So kind of social, but very consistent, I would say.
Very consistent.
And so I remember it was 2013. My dad said, you know what? We have a little building not far from our home. Let's open a restaurant.
Okay.
Let's open a beautiful restaurant. And that's just like a hitting point. The alcohol is available to you.
Oh, yeah.
You come to work with your team. It's a little shot of vodka. It's a little shot of whiskey, you know?
Yeah.
We have an access. So that's when my husband at that time started to see the problem.
Okay.
He's like, Kate, it's a shot of vodka every day just because it's cold or whatever. Like I would find all the excuses.
And you know what? Like that was really, I kid you not. Like when my first job was, well, I guess my first like legally paid job, I was in a restaurant and the owner was like an older Italian guy. And that was my first beer. I was the busboy. And actually I was only 15 years old and he bought me, that was my first beer. And the people were like, he's not 21. And he was all like, oh, just give him a beer. It was a fond memory, but what came after was clearly the mess after all of that. But, nonetheless, that was like a same thing. It was a family owned restaurant. It was very like normal. Like, okay, everybody just drinks. That's just how things are going. So this is where you were. And so now, as you mentioned, every excuse in the book, right, is a good excuse to have another shot, right?
Yeah. And if you think about the culture, Ukrainian culture, right? So when people drink around the table, family gatherings, holidays, right? Parents usually release their inhibitions a little bit and they become fun. They become kinder to us, more generous. Yeah, you want to go late? Go, because we're still having fun, right? So for us, alcohol meant freedom.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And as you know, subconscious mind makes these connections really fast. So for me, it's like a piece of freedom. It's a connection. It's a family. It's confidence. It's fun.
Until it's not, right?
Until it's not. You're right, right? First, because you're so young, and I was very young, I was 23, full of energy.
Yeah.
Because on the side from the alcohol, you still keep going. You still build your life work, you move your body, which is probably detoxifying a bit more. But then you look one day in the mirror and you see that you don't look like 25.
Yeah.
And that's how I realized, like, it wasn't a rock bottom yet. No, no, no,
Yeah.
not at all. But I remember that people tell me, like, you're 34, 35.
Uh-huh.
You know, women get pretty upset about that, right? So
Yeah.
I
It's
looked
yeah.
at my,
The time is ticking. I get it. Yeah.
exactly. You come home and you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh, these dark circles around your eyes that you cannot hide anymore, right? The teeth that are becoming more yellow because on top of the alcohol, you now have smoking or vaping or weed,
Yeah.
right? Or whatever, right?
Right.
Because now
Right.
it's like, bring it on. So that's when I started to say, probably it's probably a problem,
Okay. Yeah.
but that's okay.
Well, this is you. You're looking in the mirror, literally looking in the mirror, right? Like literally, and you're like, whoa, like this is.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, like when things are bad for me, and this is the honest truth. I don't even think I really looked in the. I mean, things were really bad, so I didn't even look in the mirror. I swear to God, like I just wouldn't even do it because probably that realization would have been there for me. Because I just didn't want to even see myself. So I mean, I'm talking like for probably like over 5 years, I just like ignored it. Like I barely would even look in the mirror at all. But like I get what you're saying because it's the truth, right? Mirrors are the truth. It's hard to
Exactly.
run away. It's right there in front of you.
Yeah, and you still keep like more ignorant, attitude towards it until you stop making serious decisions. So, and you know probably that, right? You know that when you get it every single day,
Mhm.
it's harder to make decisions, and you are the owner of the business. And
Okay,
now
yeah.
things get slower. Now you see the drop in the income and the revenue, right? You can see the team is being affected by their leader,
R-
supposed to be, right? Not really functioning well and coming to work at 2 p.m. or at 4 p.m., right? Considering that I had a child at that time that really was present and looked at all of that.
Yeah.
And my husband, I remember, said, if we're not going to leave this restaurant, you're not going to get out of here, there will be triggers all the time for you. Because you come into the restaurant, there is like a bartending like table and you
Right.
get what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I remember that my husband said, like, it's either we leave the country, you need a change, a complete change. Of course, he thought that that would fix the problem.
Yeah.
It doesn't,
So it's
right?
always
It
yeah.
doesn't. And so we move. I leave behind the business and we move to Canada, 2016. So it stops a little bit and becomes not an everyday drinking, but the smoking still keeps going. You start to be more addicted. You know that thing when we are addicted to something
Mhm.
and we are deprived of that a bit, the root cause in the body or in the mind and the psyche is going to travel and is going to look for the way out.
Yep. Yep.
So where? A little bit more coffee, a little bit more binge watching the Netflix. So the addiction just travels and it just
Yeah.
shows up just in a different scenarios. And I remember 2020 and we all shut down, right?
Of
Everyone is
course.
sitting at home, COVID. I'm so angry. I'm so angry because I'm two little kids at home. It's not like you can drink that excessively because you still have some kind of I still have to kind of protect them from that.
And they're watching you, right? Like it's like
Exactly.
like they well, anyways, yeah. So you got
Yes,
two
yes.
kids, you start to
And
become angry.
at that moment, I realized like I'm so unhappy
Yeah.
without the drink. When the drink comes in, things get easier. You
Right.
relax, but that didn't come along with the future. I remember on your website, it says when you don't have an aim, you can't achieve it.
Right. And then yeah, it's true. And then aimlessness is like, ew, I mean, wow. It is if you don't have this is what I believe firmly is that like when you're saying where if again, if you have an addictive personality, the best thing you can do is find a place, a constructive place to put it. And if you don't, it will end up in some other shitty place, Netflix or coffee, whatever it is. It'll probably just like fall into some very useless bucket of energy. But yeah, no, you're right. And so the aim is imperative, because I feel that that's how we measure ourselves. And anyways, so go ahead, right? Like, so you're at home, it's COVID, you've got the two kids. Now you're resisting the alcohol, but you're mad about it. That's what's going
I'm
on.
so mad that I
Yes.
can't have it. I
Right.
mean, probably I could, but there's this morals that are fighting inside of you, and there's a family, right? So it's like you want it, but now you're stuck with your family. Before, when someone goes out or people go to school, kids go to school, you can just have it a bit, right? You have a smoke, you have a little glass of wine, right? You can hide it.
Yeah.
You can hide it a bit. And then by
Yeah.
the end, however, when I started to be with the family, I started to realize I have everything. I have everything I have ever wanted. Why
Okay.
am I not happy?
Right.
And it's a huge cry. And you start to see that your kids are affected mentally as well. You see them, the problem was my daughter's health, and you're like, okay, let's figure out what is happening within me. That's the first time that I asked myself, maybe the problem is not in the conditions, triggers. Maybe the problem is in my thoughts. I couldn't name it at that time, but that's what it was, a complete anger. And
Yeah.
you kind of like suppressing yourself because you can't express that anger. You
Well,
can't
yeah.
put it into alcohol.
Well, I'm curious about that though. Like, you said that you're angry. Like, I mean, like, was it showing? Like, was your family noticing that you were angry, or were you just shutting down and not showing them, or were you like visibly kind of noticing, lashing out at the family because you're stuck and you can't drink?
Absolutely. Lashing out and then feeling huge guilt,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Right.
And the guilt is the self-punishment. So what the criminals do when they get into the prison, they get the punishment and they go out. A lot of them do it again. So we punish ourselves so we can do it again.
Yeah. Okay. I understand.
People do it with emotional eating. They binge, then they feel huge guilt. Okay, I punished myself with this guilt. I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, blah, 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 blah. I can do it
Yeah.
again. So
Got it.
guilt
Okay.
never stops the strategy. It actually closes the loop, the cycle of the strategy. That's
Interesting.
why people who drink, they start to have smaller and smaller sober periods of time, because in that period of time, they feel a lot of guilt.
Yep.
So they need to squeeze it and less so they don't feel it.
It's
Because that's an uncomfortable feeling for us.
That is super accurate, right? That is super accurate. Like, and actually, I haven't heard anybody really describe it like that, but now I'm going over in my mind. Yeah. Like, I would, those periods of time of sobriety, man, it was so heavy. Yeah. That's a really good, that it was like I was going through the guilt and there was plenty of it, right? There was plenty of that to be had. And it was so heavy. It was like, man. So, yes, I was conscious, maybe subconsciously, however you want to describe it, but I wanted that time of sobriety to be never. I wanted it to be never. I never wanted to be sober, because when I was, it was horrible. It was too heavy. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's interesting.
And it happens with any other. That's why we increase the intake or we decrease the times of the sober, just because we don't want to feel that. That's guilt, shame, and blame are one of the most painful feelings.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can do with sadness. You can do with anger. You can do with disappointment. But the guilt, shame, and blame are, for our psyche, super, super damaging.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to go again and again and again. So that's what I was feeling guilt of the lashing out, but the strategy was not there.
Right.
And that's what happens with people. They come, for example, they come to me as a hypnotherapist, right? Like for the addiction. And they say, but I don't know what else, what's then? And just as your website says, what's then? Okay, so you stop drinking. What's now?
Yeah.
What is your vision now, right?
Yeah.
That's
What
the
comes
scariest.
next?
Exactly.
I didn't, it took too long to try to figure that out. And it's like, when you don't have that answer, it's really hard not to just drink again. Because why not? Like, what else? I mean, what else comes? It's like, all right, well, I guess I'll just do that again. So yeah, that's important.
Yes, when they come to me and they say, "Well, I'm drinking and I would love to stop doing that," I was like, "How is drinking a problem for you?" And they're like, "Oh, well, I don't think it's a problem for me. It's a problem for my wife, husband, partner, because they brought me here. They said that they're going to leave me or divorce or the family is going to fall apart." So the inner motivation is still not there.
Mhm.
Usually, when we hit the rock bottom, that's why it helps so much.
Yeah,
Why we need to fall to our knees, because that's when we find our inner motivation. Why do
yeah,
we want to stop doing that? Not for our family, not for our something here. I want a better
it's true.
life. I want a better health. I want to see some, like, I want to connect to family, whatever it is. But
Yeah.
I want to.
Right. Yeah, because it never works if you're doing it for something like whether the law, like, oh, I'm here because they're forcing me to. It's not there. Like it has to be internal. Has to be from inside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So that's when I felt I realized that every day I wake up, starting from, I remember the time, it was 16th of March 2020, when in Canada, here in Alberta, we were shut down. And so I remember that for the whole month, every single day, I didn't feel happiness.
Mm.
Everyone was at home. We were okay. We had food on the table. Yes, it was an uncertainty. We were safe. We were all at home. What is not working?
Mhm. Mm.
That's when I started, like, it was huge crying, rage. And I realized, like, okay, something needs to change. That's how you start to, okay, let's look around. The first articles, you just open a Google and you start to Google things, right?
Right.
How to stop drinking, or
It's not a
the
bad
root,
place to start.
absolutely, right? The root cause of alcohol addiction or cigarette
Yeah.
addiction or whatever.
Yeah.
Right, and then you start to see, oh, it's actually the pain, and that's when the journey starts. Yes, there was still drinking, but it became more aware. And this is another thing that I would love, and I'm pretty sure your audience will love that. When we start to become aware of the problem, the next stage, because when we are ignorant, it hurts, but we are still ignorant.
Right. 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 Right.
When we start to realize it's a problem, usually people believe that if I become aware, it's going to get better. It actually gets worse. So the second stage after we become aware is when we are aware, but we don't change anything.
Right. 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 Right.
You
Right.
still drink, but you're aware of the problem. So it
Yeah.
starts to hurt more. The realizations are deeper. The guilt is deeper. Like
Yeah.
everything is just intensified now because you're aware of it.
Right. And you know what? Like in my journey, like there was a good like that whole denial phase is what kind of what it's referenced as like a lot of times is that, oh, you're in denial. Well, I was well aware. I was well aware. So what you're saying, it is very it's spot on for myself because I knew it, and that's when it really got ugly. Like I was well aware, and it still got worse. And so you're definitely, that is a very true statement. That's exactly what happened with me because I probably, I was openly, I was very clear with everybody, and it wasn't there was too much evidence to deny anything anyway, right? So I had, yeah, what am I going to say? Like it was very clear. I had a problem, and I would say I had a problem, but yet, I mean, and yes, it was true that the pain was the worst during that phase. That's definitely the truth.
That's why people are afraid of this awareness stage. They're afraid to face the problem because deeply they know it's going to hurt more. They just didn't find the new strategy yet. They're
Right.
still in the same habit, but they now know about it. So it's a stage, and people need to know that this is how it's supposed to be. When it gets a little bit more painful, a little bit more, that's when you start to come out of the strategy. Not just when you start to become aware, even though nothing is subjected to time. You've probably had many people who you know that they just woke up in the morning and it's like, I'm not drinking or I'm not smoking. It could happen, absolutely. But
Yeah.
the root cause needs to be addressed. In order for it not to drift, not to be suppressed, we need to find out the root cause.
Yeah.
And so for me, alcohol meant freedom. Freedom meant connection, more confidence. I could be more ignorant of the decisions that need to be made. I don't have to take responsibility for my life later.
Mhm.
tomorrow in the
Right.
morning. I'm going to be sober. I'm going to make that decision. So not being able to take the, be afraid. And why we are afraid of taking responsibility? Because that brings consequences. And consequences breed guilt, regret, blame, and shame. That's what it is, right? People have these
Yeah.
connections. That's what I had. For me, the root cause was this connection that if I drink, I don't have to make any decisions in life.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
can just put that responsibility on someone else.
And if you do that long enough, it really falls apart. It really
Things fall
falls
apart.
apart on you fast. So then this is so 2020, you're talking about like, oh, you're like Googling and you're like searching. And what you were uncovering, what you were discovering was pain, right? Okay.
Yes. Any
So
anger is the pain. Anger underneath is the pain. So sometimes people, and you've seen people are drinking and they become super sweet.
right.
Super sweet. My husband's dad is an alcohol. He still has an alcohol addiction for like 50 years now, right? But he becomes super sweet and he just goes to sleep. And super kind, sweet, right? For some people, it brings up the pain. Someone shuts it and numbs it down, and someone just it's like a champagne bottle.
Yep.
You shake it, you open it up, it bursts into rage. And that's when you hurt people
Yeah.
around you, of course.
Right.
So for me, it was somewhere in between. You know, I would be either super fun and or I would be super angry. So that's when I started to see more pain. Realizations brought more guilt. And then one video I remember I looked and someone said, no healing can go through guilt. No healing can go through the self-judgment and guilt and shame. The healing cannot go through. It's like a filter. And I'm like, so what do I have to do? Right. And that's when you develop, okay, what if I don't blame myself for these years of addiction? What if I just take the responsibility? What if I just like, okay, because people believe that taking responsibility is feeling guilt. That's not what it is.
Well, that's interesting how you said, like you said, you're going to take responsibility, but not the shame. That's interesting.
Exactly.
That's
Yes.
interesting.
A lot of people believe why that happened. We are kids and we are punished for taking initiative. We are kids, for example, a kid takes, I don't know, a bottle of water and just drops it on the ground. And then we start like parents can yell at the child, right? So for taking the initiative, we are punished.
Yeah.
And so we believe that taking initiative, which is taking responsibility, pain. It means I'm going to be punished.
Yeah.
So we don't want to take responsibility. and getting out of any addiction involves taking that responsibility, but without the guilt and without the shame.
Yeah. Now that sounds tricky.
Yes. It's just talking to yourself like, okay. And one more time, when we are having any sort of addiction, the problem is not with us. The problem is with the quality of thoughts. So if you tell yourself, the problem is not in me, the problem is the faulty thinking. Something with the quality of thoughts that is not working. That's it. You think, oh, well, if nothing is bad with hardware, software is something I can upgrade.
Yeah. And yes, well, I agree with you. However, it can be a conundrum. It can be hard to really do that.
Absolutely. Yes. To separate that I am not my thoughts is one of the strongest skills that we learn in life, isn't it? Take any problem, anxiety, depression, fears, phobias, relationship triggers, anything you take, like, it's just the skill of separating myself from my thoughts. So the problem is not in me. It's just the thoughts that I have about the problem, about my past, about my future, about my whatever it is. But the thoughts is something that I can change. Yeah. And of course, we do have physiological aspect to the addiction. Absolutely. Because the thoughts create the impulse creates the energy creates emotion, and it switches on the genes if we have it. So of course, our environment, so there is absolutely a physiological. But if you want to address the root cause, the thoughts can impact the physiology and the biology of us as well. Yeah,
I believe that wholeheartedly, by the way. Our thoughts, 1000%. I mean, they're the wind in the sail, right? Like That's what moves the whole thing. And I think oftentimes we don't keep our thoughts safe. We let them just do whatever. So yeah, anyways, so continue, right?
Yes, absolutely. So that's what I started to learn, that the problem was not in me. So there's nothing wrong with me. So there's something wrong with maybe my past experiences, right? Maybe there is something conclusions that I made about alcohol, conclusions that I made about myself. What if I question those conclusions? So, and that's how just self educate. I wish I could Google at that time and find, like, I don't know, a coach, right? Or a counselor. I didn't. I kind of educated myself a bit on that. And that started to come, oh, okay. It took years. By the way, knowing that I have an addictive personality,
Mm-hmm.
I am in the addiction prevention program. I'm keeping it in my mind all the time. Kate, you are in an addiction prevention program all the time. Don't think you come out of the rehab and
Yeah.
you're like, yay, right? I'm not drinking anymore, right? No, I know how fast I can attach to things.
Yeah. And I
We
like how you
can,
said things, because it could be anything.
we can be addicted to our thoughts. You have an obsessive thought, that's addiction. Obsessive, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, right? When we're like, super cleaning everything, or perfectionism as well. We can be addicted to our beliefs and thoughts.
Right.
So I always remember I'm in an addiction prevention program, even though I'm not drinking, I'm not smoking, I'm not doing any of those, but still I need to be aware and mindful of my choices.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that I don't attach, which I do attach. I sometimes find out, okay, this is a little bit too much coffee. What is happening in my life? What is happening? Right? So but that comes with practice. That
Of
comes with
course.
just
Yeah.
practicing your,
I was just gonna
training.
say that's some very intense awareness to see when things are coming up on the frequency is increasing, and then maybe even the intensity of whatever is going on. Yeah, that's a hyper awareness, and that's
Yeah.
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you realize that you can take responsibility, but without the guilt, that's when the change starts to happen.
So when did you? So all right. So you mentioned, like you're Googling, you're searching, you're pulling at that thread, you're trying to figure, you're like, where is it? So what really turned the corner for you? As you
Mhm.
had mentioned, you're in hypnotherapy now. Like what made this whole journey make a left?
Yeah, Googling, I came to a little course, 4-week course, where I will teach you how the mind and body is connected. I will teach you, and you're going to use self-hypnosis. Going to use self-hypnosis, kind of like a meditation,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
in order to feel that connection and to be able to make some changes in your mind. And so these 4 courses, every single day for 4 weeks, you have to listen to the self-hypnosis recording on different topics.
Okay.
On relaxation, on confidence, on childhood trauma, on some. And so I started to, my goodness, my mind is so powerful. It can go into the very bad direction,
It's
but
true.
it can also go into a very good direction.
Right.
And I remember he said, your mind is like a horse. So your mind, subconscious mind, is a powerful 95% of our mind. Emotional mind, that's the one that it attaches to all of these habits, is like a horse. If you don't hold the horse with your reins, it's gonna go where the apples are, where the carrots are. Isn't it?
That is the first. I was like, horse. Okay, let's see where this is headed. But yeah, that's a very fair statement.
We're super more powerful physically than the rider, isn't it? Right?
Right.
Our subconscious mind is very much more powerful than logic.
Yeah.
Logic is only a couple of years, like let's just say thousands, right? And subconscious mind is millions of years in making. So of course it's much more powerful than
Let me ask you. I want to ask you this, Kate. Do you believe, in your opinion, do you think that we have a propensity to either go negative or positive?
We have the potential for everything.
The potential for everything. But do you think
Yes.
that one, I mean, I agree with you that it's a choice, but say we let go of that horse and that the apples are negative thoughts and then the carrots are positive thoughts, right? Like, do you believe that we would lean one way or the other? given that the horse is just doing whatever it wants?
It will go to which one is more familiar.
Okay, all right, yeah.
If the
Okay.
horse was eating apples all the time, it's going to go to apples.
Well played. Well
Right?
played.
Yes.
Well played. Got it.
Yeah. And so the reins is the logic. And you are the consciousness.
Got it.
So you decide, hey, I know you're super strong. Tell you where to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you the apples.
Right.
You get me to where I want. So that's what I like to even explain to my clients.
Yeah.
It's going to be very powerful. Hold the reins and direct it where you want. Still thoughts come to my mind. Anytime I walk and I see someone is smoking and I can inhale, I'm going to be very honest. I love the smell.
Wow.
I still remember that.
Right.
I remember these years, of smoking and having a coffee and connecting and, fitting in with the friends, right? Or just having that little break for myself on the backyard, right? I know that. I remember that.
Yeah.
But I'm choosing.
Yeah.
I'm choosing. Yeah, that felt good, but it brought me a lot of consequences that I'm dealing in right now. My health, autoimmune disease. There's so many things that I'm kind of like figuring out in my body. So I was like, no, I don't want to pay that price. It's kind of good. It's kind of feels good.
Yeah.
But I don't want to pay that price. Yes. So it's knowing what price. This comes with the vision, that aim, right?
Yeah.
Because people, they drink, overeat, take substances when they don't believe in the future.
It's true.
Think about it. We don't have that vision for the future.
And especially if it's familiar, right?
Exactly.
And if alcohol was around, then it just makes sense. Like, I'll just do this because that's what
Yes.
And that happens even with, I just had a conversation and she was a fantastic person working with people she typically works with cigarettes because that was her big thing. Both her parents died of lung cancer. And then she started smoking. She started smoking after they died. And it's because that's just what she saw. And that's all that she thought, that's all she could think of to cope with. And so it's the familiarity of whatever it is so relevant, right? And that's why we follow the family tree. That's why we fall in line. And it's hard to break the generational chains, if you will, right? So now I'm super curious. You took the course, you're learning about hypnotherapy, right? And so you took that one course, and then what developed as a result of that? Like, clearly you've gotten a good grip on yourself as far as the drinking goes. And so yes. I guess where are we at in time there?
I remember that I was listening in the morning, the meditation. I would go to work feeling like I don't need anything else to feel good. I just need my mind and me, and it's enough to feel okay.
Yeah.
Right? Before I thought I need something, more money, more attention, more alcohol, a little bit of one cigarette here, one there. I thought that will make me happy. Something external will make me happy. And when you start to work with your mind, you understand that my mind is capable of making me happy, right? So, right. Okay, it was up and down. I remember I have a journal. Oh, if I read that journal, one day is black, the other day is white. It's like nothing works. I remember one day, nothing works.
Period.
That's that one phrase.
Nothing works.
Yes, nothing works. I don't think anything can help. Then the next day is like, oh, I think I'm feeling better.
Right.
Sleep is a consolidation of stress. Anytime we feel stress, you probably had those days when you had a pretty challenging day and you wake up in the morning, it's like, wasn't that bad.
Right.
Yeah, so sleep is a very good consolidation of stress. So I woke up in the morning and wrote another. So I was like, okay, which means that everything changes all the time. Right? So that's what it started. That's how I started to do more of that until it came to a new year. 2021 was coming. And my husband said, hey, what if we don't drink? What if we don't buy a bottle of champagne for a New Year's Eve?
Right.
And we decided not to. And it kind of kept going. And it was up and down and up and down. Of course, you still develop the strategy how to deal with stress without the alcohol. You still develop the strategy how to feel fun with friends when you don't drink.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was that was hard. That was hard. And a lot of friends, by the way, we've lost a lot of friends. You lose the people that Kate was so much fun when she was drinking.
Yeah. Because they want to drag you down a little bit.
Yeah, right.
It's hard for people sometimes.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you're not so much fun. You're like more serious. I was like, maybe I'm just in this state of my mind and time and life that I need to be a bit more serious. And then we started to learn how can we have fun without
Yeah.
things. So we started to cook more at home, you know, to try some recipes. So that gradually came in. And I look now and I look at the cocktail at the bar, you know, and I was like, I know what it can give me, right? It's not like
Yeah.
I'm never gonna drink ever again, right? It's just that I just don't need it right now, right? There are
Seems
different
healthy. Seems like a
strategies.
healthy place.
Yeah, it's not like you're like, oh, this is the worst thing for my life. Alcohol is the worst. I have to run away from it. I have to
Right.
eliminate all of it. It's like, it's there.
Yeah.
You know, it's there. People do that. People are a lot of people have absolute control over it. They're able to have a glass of wine and have a wonderful life. There's nothing wrong with it, right? It's just that I know myself well.
Yeah.
That if I start to have it, I know that I will lose those strategies that I've already built for dealing with challenging situations.
Well, wait. So, at what point did you start to decide to spread the word, and then start getting other people to do what you had developed, right? What you're like, okay, I got to start sharing this, right? So, how did that develop, and where is it now?
Yeah, in 2021, just as we stopped drinking, I was like, okay, now that I have so much time,
Yeah. Yeah.
there is more awareness, which means there is more time, because that's why we feel we don't have time, because we are very unaware.
Uh-huh.
So when you have more awareness, and go, I have time. I have time for studying or maybe going back to school, and that's how I went back to school for hypnotherapy.
Right. Okay.
So that took me 6 months
Uh-huh.
to graduate, and I started to right away. Left my job, and that really helped not to drift back. Why? Because you have a goal for the future.
Right.
Now you see where your life is going. No matter what happens, you kind of see. That's why what you're doing, Ryan, right? As well, like you're helping people, you know where your life is going.
Right.
It's so much easier to make decisions. So sometimes when I start with clients, I start to see where is that spark of life. What did people like to do when they were kids?
There's a good one.
Yeah, right? Yeah, bring back the inner motives.
Right. Because I believe that our attention is heaven sent, meaning that why would something gather my attention and not yours? Where does that message come from? Where's the genesis of our desire to look at more or click on something? Like maybe something you see, you cruise right past it. Something I see, whatever it may be, even like billboard's kind of old, but like whatever. It's like something catches my eye, it won't catch your eye. Why? Like, why is that? And so I feel like it goes as deep as our childhood, right? Like why does some child pick up a toy truck and another child picks up crayons? Like what is it that excites us? And I think that's a very, very deep and a very spiritual message as far as what does excite us. So I think that you looking at the childhood is, yeah.
The same with spirituality. That's what changed. The spirit, there came an understanding that there's something more than just my body and just my instincts to drink.
Yeah, yeah.
There's so much more to that.
Yeah.
And that's when we reconnect, right? With the faith, with the hope, with the, like all of that is just coming together, clicking in the mind. I can't even say how exactly it happened. It just happened.
Oh, man. Yeah. And it seems like an epiphany. And it also seems so damn clear when it does. It's like, oh, why didn't I see this before? But that's, man, that is super killer. So, well, what is it? What do you have going on in the future? Where do people find you? Or like, what's developed as you have been working with these people?
Yeah. So usually when I started to work with people, my first clients were not clients for addiction.
Got it.
And you probably know how hard it is for people to come and ask for help.
Yeah.
When they, first of all, because people who are, and I know that personally from my experience, when I was drinking, smoking, whatever, starting from 12, I knew that I was by myself. I was on
Mhm.
my own. Asking for help is a weakness. Asking for help is admitting that you're not strong enough.
Mhm.
So I was like on my own. I can deal it with on my own. I couldn't, but I thought I could. So coming to help and admitting that I have a problem and I would love for that to get better so that people are left alone in childhood, right? They're
Mhm.
left like, or sometimes, by the way, actually kids are overprotected.
Yeah.
Too much, love bombing. And they feel like, I just want freedom. Just want to live my own experience. Stop protecting and stop helicoptering me.
Right.
And they go, I'm going to rebel a bit. And they start drinking. So it's so individual for the story. So that's why I started to be very interested. Like, what? So first people who came with addictions, I was forming a pattern. Oh, the root cause is probably this. And then every next client that came to me with any sort of addiction, shopping addiction, gambling, they just broke those conclusions because I realized like our stories are so unique. The way
So
we
unique.
connect in our mind things is unique.
Right.
So that really helped to bring the hypnotherapy, what I'm doing, to the next level, not to bring conclusions into the session.
Every time you do that, right? I mean, it's never judge. And we all do it. We all do it, right? It's going
Absolutely.
to happen, but like you got to resist it. And then I actually kind of enjoy those moments where I'm like, man, I did not see that coming. Look at that. Like, that's like, man, I thought I had this thing all figured out. Wrong. Like, so.
Exactly, Ryan. That's exactly what, when I was in the session with the client and they would give me some sort of information, I'm like, I was wrong.
Right.
That's not what it is.
Now, but of course you've started applying this, right?
Yes.
So what does it look like to work with you? Where can people find you? What's coming on the horizon? What do you have going on?
Yeah, so I offer sessions to find the root cause for the people. They kind of go on a journey. It's a 2-hour session. They can find me on my website, katesemeniuk.com. I have a YouTube channel. I would love, by the way, to share the love about this episode on my social media. And so people can just contact me and we can do the consultation and work together.
I love it.
And I also have a free course on my website. People can go and do the course that I did. Very similar.
The same one.
Not the same one, but a very similar one. I created like a mind awareness.
I love it.
How can people start to become more aware of their mind and what it can do? And it does involve learning about your subconscious mind. What is it doing for you? And so that course is absolutely free. It's a 7 days, 7 classes, 7 meditation, self-hypnosis audios, so people can get to know more about their mind and how powerful it is.
That is super awesome. I love, and I'm going to put that all in print. I'm going to make sure that everybody has every resource available. But yeah, no, that is, I love what you do. And you're up in Canada, right?
I am in Calgary, Alberta.
Love it. Right. So that kind of work is so impressive. It always has been to me because it starts to meld the different worlds, right? In our subconscious, our conscious minds, because it's advantageous to take on any approach, right? If you really have a problem, because again, everybody's got that unique thing. And so I love that you have a first step that's not like a huge commitment, right? That's how people can wet their whistle and kind of see what's going on. And then, I believe wholeheartedly that there'd be a large value and benefit for somebody doing what you did already, because you've already expressed it. Like, that's how you got here, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, yeah, we're right up here, and I really appreciate Kate coming on here and sharing about Ukraine and solidifying my cinematic visions of what it looks like over there at dinner time. And then also, I appreciate that you've got sober yourself and you've turned things around, and now you're making sure to make the most of it by helping out others. And I think that is stellar. But yeah, Kate, thank you for being on today.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Until the next episode, we'll see you.